Hello dear viewer, welcome back to Reality Core TV. In case you are a first time listener here, I go by the name of Aluko Deborah JB, and what I do here is talking about various social issues and insightful topics that promote your all-round wellness. So welcome to my space. Today I'm going to be talking about something very important topic, and that is fighting the cancer of envy. That is what I'm going to be talking about in this video today, and I hope you be able to learn one or two things. I'm going to be talking about both the subject of envy and the object of envy from a psychological lens. So I really want you to have an open mind and be ready to gain something. Thank you very much. So to start with, some people actually think that envy is normal, and it's not a big deal. It's just something that is common, like it's something that is part of your existence, that it's a normal behavior, but it's actually not a normal behavior. So don't look at it as normal, because when you begin to look at something as normal, you will think that there's no need for improvement. So that is why I'm saying we should not look at it from that kind of lens. It is a different thing to be full of admiration for someone because of his or her identity or personality or possession or achievement, and it is a different thing entirely to be driven by envy. So admiration for someone or a group of people, or it is entirely different from envy. And also, envy does not mean jealousy. Envy does not mean jealousy. Jealousy happens when you're bothered about someone taking something that belongs to you or owning what you have. But envy is that desperate feeling of wanting what someone has without caring if they even get hurt in the process. Viewing envy from a psychological lens, it is actually a sign of low self-esteem that can also have traits like sadness and also feelings of inadequacy, and it spreads very fast like cancer germs. I'm going to explain why I say that, because envy is a sign of like lack of self-acceptance, and it has a way it spreads very fast, like it aggravates into greater things. I mean greater things that are negative. That's what I mean. Like envy can birth pretense, and then anger, and then to hatred, and also it can lead to manipulations and betrayal. Could even lead to conspiracies and murder. So it starts from that envy. It starts from there. So it can actually escalate into something else that is very costly. That is why I said it spreads like cancer germs. So how do you know you are even exhibiting traits of envy? How do you know if this video is for you? I'll be sharing some signs of envy before I delve into how to fight it. So number one sign of envy I'll be talking about here is what I call emotional flaws. And this means the feelings of anger, resentment and sadness when you get to hear or see something great about others. You know, something that makes some other people who have been able to achieve a healthy mindset, something that makes them feel happy and sincerely love and appreciate and celebrate others, makes you feel bad. That's a sign of envy. And the second sign is you see good potentials in others, and instead of encouraging them or supporting them so that the world could become a better place, or as an alternative, just choosing to not react or just to be indifferent or not doing anything, you rather take pleasure in kind of trying to block them in some way or looking for ways to suppress them. That is a sign of envy. I'm giving the signs because it's important to know the signs first before knowing how to fight it, so that you can know the areas in which you are exhibiting it and how you need to come against it. And the third sign is downplaying the achievements of others. If you find yourself giving remarks like maybe when something good happens to someone and maybe people are maybe trying to like celebrate the person and like, wow, this is great, this is nice, this is making sense, and then you find yourself saying things like you're just lucky, or you find yourself saying things like that was a simple stuff, and just trying to downplay the achievement of others to people who have hit certain achievements in their lives. That's a clear sign of envy. So the fourth sign is of painting people with excellent attributes you wish you had, painting them bad, and deliberately misconstruing their actions to present yourself as better in the sight of others, and still pretending to be a friend to the ones you are acting against, pretending to care about them, checking on them, falsifying some outward show of love and affection, like screaming their names when you see them or hugging them in sheer pretense, but behind them you're trying to kind of ruin their image in the presence of others. They're trying to kind of give a false representation about them to others. That's a sign of envy. Then the next sign is having a counterfeit presentation of oneself, like not being original, like stealing, or let me say mimicry of ideas or styles that are unique to other people, rivalry for recognition and clout. Those are signs of envy. Then the next sign is showing ingenuine support for inauthentic minds over those who are more deserving. For instance, if someone exhibiting the trait of envy sees two people doing similar things and knows sincerely that one of them stands out in a kind of unique way, or one is more deserving, maybe the other one has put in more work and more work and originality, like more effort and originality into the work, and someone with envy traits would actually prefer to give insincere accolades to the other one whose work was never birthed or driven from a place of originality or authenticity. This is not because that is how much they really love or treasure that person, but because it gives you a kind of false feeling that maybe refusing to show true support or validation, especially when you're in the position to do that, maybe life places you in the position to do that, and you think not doing that will actually hinder the person in some way. So that's the sign of envy. And that, for this point, I would like to give a biblical allusion to explain what I'm saying. When when Pilate asked the crowd that who should they release between Jesus and Barabbas, and they all shouted Barabbas. This was not because they really cared about Barabbas, and it was not because they really loved him, but because of the envy that had culminated into hatred for Jesus. That was why they knew without any answer of doubt that Jesus was special, and he had some kind of nice qualities, some very good qualities. So, and his salt was hard to come by. So after all, like, what did Barabbas do for them? Barabbas was an armed robber. He was a die-hard nuisance to the society, but they still preferred to show him that favor over Jesus because of the envy that had grown into hatred, even to the point of wanting him dead. That was worth causing. So you can see how these emotions can actually grow into something really that is more complicated. So when people who have been eaten up by envy know that the other fellow is flawed in some way, in some very non-negligible ways, like being unkind, desperate, inauthentic, and it doesn't stop them from giving that person their support, even if it is less beneficial to anyone, because there is something about that authenticity in the other fellow that makes them cringe. So then the last one is insincere compliments and flattery. is a sign of envy. When you just give compliments or flattery or all those things that are not, you don't really mean it. You don't really mean it, and it's not like maybe you are trying to. It's just not genuine. That's what I'm true. So people who have envy traits tend to give insincere accolades and flattery a lot. So, and if you happen to notice any of these traits, you've come to the right place. And I want to assure you that you're watching this is not a coincidence. It's not. It's not an accident. It's not just by chance. I believe that you are here for transformation. So congratulations on taking your best foot forward on the right track. There are many other traits of envy, but because of time, I will just stop here and move straight to the remedies for the subject of envy. That is the solutions that can help you to battle with this killing trait of envy and help you to lead a healthier mindset. The number one remedy for subjects of envy, that is people who have an envy trait, is to, number one, drop the excuses. Drop the excuses. It's very important, because one major excuse that people with envy traits give is that people share too much about themselves. The purpose of this video is not to actually validate or invalidate whether or not sharing too much is to measure or whether or not sharing too much is right, or this video is not to measure anyone's definition of what is too much. But the truth is that you do not have any control over what anyone chooses or chooses not to share about himself or herself. The only person you have control over in this regard is yourself. So anyone could choose to be devoted to anything that makes them happy, and they possess the absolute right to do so, since it is their space. So it could be on social media or a secular gathering where people get the forum to talk about themselves, or it could even be a religious gathering where people are given a platform to share testimonies about themselves. Whichever mode it is, people will always continue to share about themselves. So are you going to continue affecting your mindset because of that? And why this aspect needs to be looked into is that, interestingly, some other people who in that circle could be where the person is sharing, or where people are sharing about themselves, could actually be picking a value or two from it, and others could just be getting inspired or motivated, while some others could just be getting entertained with the OGs. So why choose envy? Why choose envy as a reaction to the people who share instead? In this context, the issue is with you and not them. That is the first remedy. Drop the excuses. Drop the excuses. Thank you. So the second remedy is to... Okay, before I move to the second remedy, I want to say that the purpose of these remedies I'm giving is to actually help to control this envy germs from spreading further to destroy your best self, because it can actually kill gradually. It can really reduce one's self-esteem, and it can destroy your best self if you don't look into it. And it's cool. If the envy is not curtailed early enough, it could get repelled either internally or externally. In the external sense, envy can lead to anger, and then to hatred, and it could lead to conspiracies and even murder. But in the internal sense, this internal sense is also very serious. It's not just the external sense. In the internal sense, envy could also lead to extreme sadness, depression, and further to suicidal tendencies. So if they're not repelling it externally, like to kind of scheme wicked things against people, it could also kill the person internally, like kill the person's moral potentials internally, if it is not looked into. That is why this remedy should be taken seriously. So I'm going to move to the second remedy now, and that is, okay, the second reason actually why this remedies are important is that no matter how long or how much any group of people or anyone seem to appreciate you to your face. If you get known for this envy thing, if you get known for this envy trait, they could find it very difficult or seem difficult to recommend you for anything serious, because envy is actually a bad vibe, a very bad vibe, and once it gets noticed, it can ruin relationship ties, it can sever relationships, it can betray trust. It's a very serious emotion or trait. It's a very serious trait. So that is why. So now the second remedy is to rethink your drive. Rethink your drive. Rather than releasing yourself to envy, you can use what you hear or see on the great side of others to motivate yourself, as a signal to the fact that there are still possibilities. You know, when you hear something nice about someone, maybe someone hit a milestone or something really beautiful, something really nice happened to someone, you can just use it to remind yourself that, wow, life is still full of possibilities. It might be someone close to you, it might not be someone close to you, but whenever you see positive things that you probably even wish for yourself, that should even give you more motivation that, wow, there are still possibilities, things still happen in this life, there are still possibilities. It should even encourage you to be yourself and to keep on with whatever you are doing. It doesn't have to break you, it doesn't have to make you feel bad. So now the next remedy is to get busy. Get busy. Be too busy developing yourself and doing your goals that you do not even have time or the space to accommodate envy. Once you're busy, once you're like occupied, you won't even have the opportunity to sit down one place and be thinking about what happened to someone else makes you feel and all of that. You won't have the time. Now the next point is discover yourself. Know what interests you naturally and stick to it. Focus. Most times it is lack of focus that makes you cringe out when you hear about someone doing something, or when you hear about what that person is doing or what that other person is not doing. It is actually like a sign of like distraction. So know what works for you, and you'll be amazed at how much you'll be able to evolve and grow in your own space without any feelings of inferiority. If you're having a hard time discovering yourself, I have a very important suggestion which works, because I will not recommend anything that is not working. So what I recommend for you is to pray to God who steer the course of your life, because God created you and He knows everything about your life. Even what your parents don't know, what the closest person to you does not know, He knows it. So just ask Him. Just ask Him. Ensure you have a good relationship with Him and ask Him. It will actually lead you. It will help you to discover your best self. It will definitely help you, I'm sure of that. So that is a very sure way to discover yourself. If you're having a hard time, maybe you have looked into yourself, you've tried to study yourself, and you're still not getting it, you're still not getting what exactly you should even be doing. This is the best option. Just talk to the one who created you, God, to help you to lead you or reveal to you what exactly you're to be doing in life, and it's going to teach you, and it's going to be very easy for you. So that works very well. And the fifth point is celebrate or be truly happy for others who have attained their golden dreams. Whenever you hear about something good that happened to someone, be happy for them. If you can congratulate them, you can congratulate them. It's not a big deal. Because when you do that, when you're truly happy for others, I mean, it's not something so like, I feel it's not something so like hard. Like you can't hear to congratulate someone or to be happy for someone. You should rejoice with those who are rejoicing. That's how it's supposed to be. So you discover that when you intentionally try to do those things, when you intentionally, even if envy is trying to suggest to your mind, by the time you are fighting it with just intentionally being happy for the person, like reminding yourself that there are still possibilities, and then you just celebrate with that person. Before you know it, all the envy traits will disappear. works very well. When something is trying to hold you down, when envy is trying to hold you down, and you fight it back by giving a counter reaction to, you're not feeding it. If you feed it and you're now saying, oh, and you're now feeling bad and all that, and you've allowed the envy to overcome it. But when there's even a suggestion of envy like coming, and you just fight it by praising up and even celebrating the person, being happy for the person, before you know it, the envy will just disappear, and you like, you will not even know how it disappeared. It works very well. So just intentionally make this a deliberate effort and intentionally do it without any form of manipulation, and just try to see if you can learn from their growth. If there's anything to learn from their growth, it could help you to just look for the positive side, and don't allow any negative thoughts, because those things are just irrelevant. Those envy thoughts are irrelevant. They won't help you. It won't help anybody. So don't feed it. Starve it with them. If you pay an essentially close eye to this, the tendencies of envy will die a natural death, and you will become a happier person. Now, for the objects of envy, I've been talking about subjects of envy and they can overcome these traits, but this part is for the objects of envy, that is those who are actually facing a hard time from being envied. The thing is, it's not just subjects of envy alone that get affected by envy. Even the objects of envy, the person that's being envy, can be affected too if the person does not manage the situation very well. Don't be surprised if an object of envy can even become depressed if care is not taken, because when the person starts noticing maybe some of those traits I've mentioned on the part of the subject of envy, it can also, if not properly managed, it can also gradually begin to even depress the object of envy, and it can also cause a lot of damage to the object of envy. So that is why I'm doing it both sides. So everybody, both sides of the, should I say both sides of the coin now, need this remedy. So for the object of envy, number 1 point is change your circle. Change your circle. If you find that you are closely surrounded, emphasis on closely, because when I say change your circle, it doesn't mean that everywhere you get to, once you just notice anything that makes you feel as if maybe this is an envy trait and then you just pack your bags and leave. That's not what this point is saying. It depends on the context. So that's what I'm saying. If you find out that you are closely surrounded by people who are constantly, emphasis on constantly exhibiting envious traits or envy traits, you need to change yourself so that they do not stifle your morale. This is courage. This is courage, not cowardice. This is wisdom and not weakness, and this is smartness and not smallness. So depending on the situation, depending on the context of it, if it's really injuring you from being who God wants you to be, and it's really choking you up if it's really like preventing you from carrying out what you're supposed to carry out, what God has designed for you, you can actually prayerfully make that decision, and there's nothing wrong with it. Just ensure that you are I'm going to mention other points that I think will make this one clearer. So it depends on the context. It doesn't mean that everywhere you get, because in every space you may actually find people that have envy traits. So it doesn't mean everywhere you get you just have to live with it. That is not what we are trying to say. It depends on the situation, it depends on the context, and if it's something that has become peculiar to a set of people that are kind of close to you, close in the sense of like they really, for that period of time, they really have a lot doing together, and it's something that can be avoided, or is already leading to something that is leading to something that is no longer interesting, and there's no stop again. It's just breathing a kind of space of rancor, strife, carnality, or all these unhealthy competitions, or anything that is has a taint of negativity, and it's becoming so much. It's already so pronounced, and it's something that has become peculiar. It's a constant thing, and these kind of people are kind of in your space, and you know that there is a way it can be avoided. You can change your circle. It's very, because if care is not taken, they will try to reduce your morale, because that is what they want. That is what they want to see, but you don't give them a chance. So if changing your circle makes it the right function, if changing your circle will make you have your peace of mind and make you be who God truly wants you to be, then change your circle. It's as simple as that. Then the second point is, but ensure that you're not keeping grudges with them, because grudges kill you, and they just make the person bearing the grudge will be the one being unhappy and unproductive. So ensure you're not locking up anyone. Just make the right decision and be happy. The second point is, do not relent. Instead of feeling bad at what people with envy traits are doing to you, or instead of drawing your curtains and caving in, let your envy actually serve as a motivation for you to do more. Do not fall for their distraction. Forge ahead at what you do, and you will be surprised at your rewards. Just be focused. It is a distraction, so don't let it get to you. The next point is, know where to draw the line when you encounter such people. You can relate normally, even if you notice that someone is having envy traits. It doesn't mean you can't greet them. It doesn't mean you can't draw the line when you encounter such people, because you don't have to be too open or free with them, and I'll give the reason subsequently as I'm talking about the point. You don't have to be too open or giving them so much details about yourself. You should mind the kind of information you share with them and the kind of rapport you have with them. This does not mean you should be afraid of them, and it does not mean that you should keep grudges against them. It just means you should employ wisdom in your dealings with them, so that you don't let down your guard and cheaply open your territory for such people to invade or walk through your heart in insincerity. It can be a very painful thing. It can be a very painful thing to allow someone or people to walk through your heart in insincerity. Such a person will end up being heartbroken, like, feeling like so, like, after everything, after I thought you were this or that, then just to discover that you're this kind of person, it can be so heartbreaking. So rather than opening your heart to heartbreak, don't let such people with envy traits, to walk through your heart in insincerity, because they don't actually mean well or love you. So don't let them deceive you into believing otherwise. And then this is where I also quickly add that this is the importance of also having the presence of God in your life, because it will actually be able to guide you on what to say, what not to say, how to behave or how not to behave around this kind of people exhibiting this trait. So now the next one is, be grateful and feel comfortable around God-driven minds who truly love you for who you are and who are interested in your growth. Do not be disturbed about those who are doing otherwise. The thing is that no matter how many these people with envy traits are, there will still be people that God will bring across your way, that will bring on your trail, that will really love you and really be interested in what you are doing or who you are, and just love you for who you are. So these are the kind of people you should be happy. Don't feel like, oh, the world is against me, maybe nobody loves me, or don't let those negative thoughts cross your mind. You discover that there are God-driven people, people who are sincere hearts, and people who have kind hearts that are genuine. You will come across them as you journey. So be happy about that. Then the next point is engage in self-care, and generously, and don't forget to celebrate your wins, no matter how little they may seem. Don't wait for anybody to make you happy. Don't wait for what someone is doing or not doing, or how anyone is reacting or not reacting, or anyone is being happy before you are happy. If you're that kind of person that you let your happiness depend on how people treat you or how people, you will never be a happy person. So don't hinge your happiness on those irrelevancies. It's very important. So now the next is to fill your relationship with God, and you will have so much peace that will keep you unbothered about whatever you notice people with envy traits are doing or not doing. If you have watched this video up to this point, I strongly believe you have gotten what it takes to fight the cancer of envy. I strongly advise you to make a deliberate effort to work on them, and you will become a happier version of yourself. Thank you very much for watching up to this point. If you liked the video, you're free to drop a thumbs up, and if you have any contributions whatsoever, you're also free to let us know in the comment section. And also please remember to subscribe so that you can be notified when next a new video drops on the channel. Thank you once again. Have a good day.